And jumping right on in, like I said, more than halfway done. Let's recap as quickly as we can. HGT leading off with the Ember Spirit, Skywrath Mage, and the Razor, 3 very popular picks across all geographic regions, while we have DK on the other side grabbing the first pick, Terrorblade, and they pair it up with the Tidehunter and the Venge. What do you think, Trout?
Well, it's really hard to say anything against Terrorblade. Like, you think on paper, oh, they got good AoE. They have a lot of AoE, which is great, between the Razor and the Ember Spirit. They have good burst damage, which is fantastic against Terrorblade. And I see these things, I'm like, these are great tools, but what really works against Terrorblade? Because I've said that so many times. We've seen teams just get so close to beating Terrorblade and theoretically should beat him, but if he gets off to a good start, and even if he doesn't get off to a good start, if he gets a little bit of space, he can just take over a game. We saw, ZYF, I believe, was the one that playing that. Just it looked like it was out. They looked like they were out or down for the count, but he brought it back. So not only Terrorblade, they're going for the Vengeful Spirit and the Visage, 2 pretty decent supports. I'm wondering if Drow would seem kind of strange here with the Terrorblade, but it does synergize well with those 2 supports.
Oh, it definitely does. And that's an excellent point. And you can even see how they could end up laning it, too. I mean, with a Venge, a Visage, and a Drow, you could have the option of going aggressive if you wanted. That's a very potent aggressive tri-lane. And then you could free up the mid for the Terrorblade and guarantee you're going to keep pressure off of him by putting pressure onto the enemy tri-lane. And then a solo safe spot for Tide, which he thrives in. He's going to win almost every matchup there, or at the very least, he's very hard to bring down and is guaranteed to get a fair amount of farm. HGT, I would say, is running with a bunch of heroes that just are popular right now. Ogre Magi has really seen his star rise. Skywrath Mage, despite the nerfs, has never really fallen off. Ember Spirit, the teams that like to run him tend to run him a lot. And, of course, Razor, who was the pick of TI4 for the most part. He and a handful of other heroes, and has never really fallen off despite being hit with the nerf hammer a little bit as well. But Timbersaw going to round out that front 5 for HGT. We'll see where DK wants to go next. Just to build on what you said about Terrorblade for a moment, though, he's one of the few heroes that I really feel like remain in the game that has a paper, rock, scissors feel to it. It's basically you either draft a lineup that can beat him early, or he gets big, and if you don't have a good answer to him, like a carry that carries just as hard with equal amounts of farm, you're probably just going to lose. And we saw that in play just last night.
Yeah, and they last pick a Juggernaut here for DK, and I'm wondering if, actually CTY is playing the Terrorblade, so I suspect this is going to be a mid Terrorblade, and a tri-lane with the Juggernaut. Now, you mentioned aggressive tri-lane, which is certainly always doable with a Visage, but it's very scary going into aggressive if there is a Razor there, and it's CSMJ playing it. I believe he is usually their one player, as there's actually a disconnect here from Dreamy U, but if it's, I don't know about Terrorblade mid. I mean, I guess if you spam the Metamorphosis right away, it can be fine. But after that goes away, these other mid heroes, being either the Ember Spirit or the Razor, are going to have a fantastic time. And and they also have great roaming if they want to do some movement here from Pretty Hop Lane, the Skywrath, or the Ogre. So I don't know. I'm not sold on the Jug pick. I think it could have been something else. I think they could have protected the TB, just threw him bottom, and just had a better solo mid. That's what HGT thought, because they actually last banned the Queen of Pain. So throwing a curveball even for HGT.
Yeah, and taking a look at HGT, just observing who they've been playing with recently, XX, who we've taken the calling Dos Equis, and Air, have been playing with them a lot. So in terms of, and they're playing under the stand-in tag, obviously. So in terms of what their team composition is going to be right now and moving forward, I really don't know the inside intricacies of that, but it is worth mentioning these 2 players have been playing with them pretty frequently as of late. On DK, they seem to be at full 5-man strength. So CTY, as you had mentioned, really is their standout player. He's kind of bounced around. If you've been keeping up with the Eastern scene for the last year or so, maybe even a little bit longer, like my introduction to him was G1 League back in the end of 2012, I think. It was like the winter of 2012, the early, in the beginning of 2013. He played for, what team was it? I want to say it was Vici at one point, back when Vici wasn't the Vici they are now, who arguably sits atop the Chinese scene, back when they were kind of a middle-tier team trying to find their own kind of identity. He played with them, and he played a few other places, but he really is a phenomenal mid, and it's worth bringing up almost every time he plays for viewers who maybe aren't familiar with him and what he's accomplished in his past. He was noticed and really rose to the chance to play for Tier 1 teams and Tier 1 organizations in China after winning a one-on-one solo mid competition in which he defeated people like Ferrari 430. So, I mean, the guy is without a doubt as mechanically skilled as anyone you're possibly going to see coming out of China, at least at his position. He has played carry as well, though. He played carry for another team, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But he did play a 1 and seed that mid position at one point or another as well. So he can do either very, very well.
Yeah, it will be CTY mid as he's gone poor man shield with 2 pool. Interesting items here for Cold Snap. The support Venge has boots and a smoke. No regen up for him. There's boots on the Juggernaut. Is there anyone else that has boots? Because there's a lot of boots here. No boots for the Visage, who's actually a very slow support early on. Yeah, you can get the Grave Chill, but without getting that off, you're sitting at 285 movement speed with no armor. So, yeah, interesting stuff coming out from DK. They are trying to do something aggressive, but so is HGT. So they're going to dodge each other for the time being. Ward's coming down. 2 sentries here placed for HGT. They really want to make sure that this pole camp is warded. That leads me to believe it will be an off-lane Timber Saw. Yeah, you don't really want to invest that many wards in there if you're just going to try lane aggressively. So it will be a safe lane try lane for HGT. Not quite sure yet what DK is going to do. All I do know is that, oh yeah, it does look like a solo tied bottom and a TB mid.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Oh, this could go good or bad. We'll have to see. Good targeting as they stun out ZSMJ. They get him with the follow-up, and down he goes. Good positioning, waiting atop that hill, and very often you actually do see that happen. We see Ty's actually going to be spotted and take some auto-attack damage from Pretty Haw. Also going to need an Arcane Bolt, but he should be fine. But we often do see that. When teams dodge each other, you really have to be careful, not just here. Like, that's a very common spot, but also coming back to lane. Sometimes teams will camp right here and anticipate supports heading this way. And that time worked out very well for Team DK as they lead 1-0.
Yeah, and they warded the pole. So that's actually very effective because 2 sentries were used from HGT, so they cannot counter that until they get more gold for sentries, which they're not going to have. So that's a pretty big deal. They need to get kills up in this top lane, but Ogre, while he is tanky, doesn't dish out the most damage right away. ZSMJ goes for a link, gets literally no damage.
Oh, here we go. They're going to engage on a Cold Snap. He's down to half health, running away. Got off the Magic Missile first. Is Dreamy You? He's got him. It's going to be the second death on ZSMJ as he drops again. They're going to try to follow it up with a kill on the Visage. He's chasing into the side shop. Kaka there uses the Fire Blast. Here comes Cold Snap. Oh, unfortunate. Oh, man. Not when you want to pause. And I'm sure he has a good reason, but oh, that's brutal. There's nothing more heartbreaking, no matter which team you're on, to have a pause like that come out. And I'm assuming we're going to see someone reconnect or something. At least I would hope. Surely not a manner pause.
No. That usually doesn't happen. I don't think this pause is going to, like, it's annoying, but I don't think it's going to change too much. Like, everyone sees each other. Everyone knows exactly what's going on. Cold Snap isn't going to have mana for a long time for another stun, so he can't help. Pretty sure this Visage is dead. Maybe he can buy a TP scroll before he dies, and that'll be good for him. So at the very least, it does help him, so he can buy something.
Dreamy You might get a return kill though. He's 2 mana short of another spin, and Pretty Haw very squishy to begin.
That spin is not gonna be up for 20 seconds though. So I don't know. I think Skywrath Mage his movement speed is 325, so I don't think you're gonna run him down with auto attacks. Nonetheless, it's gonna be a 2-for-1 exchange in the grand scheme of things. But the problem is they lost this Razor twice now, which really sucks, and he has to walk all the way back. It really started with him trying to go for a static link, and he got literally no damage off on it.
Yep. Totally agree. And this is, this is the issue now. You have 2 heroes that they do work well together, the Skywrath and the Ogre, but, they have no experience now. 15 experience points total on Kaka. Visage, even though he's going to die, is going to be near level 2. Juggernaut, by the time this is done, will stand nearby, and a couple of creeps will die, and he'll be level 2. And it's not the end of the world. It's not as if you can't turn it around with a good return kill. But already we see this aggressive trialing beginning to work itself out. And as you mentioned, they're not going to be able to pull or do anything really to get this back under control. I feel really stupid for looking at the Juggernaut. It's always mana. For some reason, I glanced down there and I read that as 1 instead of 19. So dumb me. Looks like we are ready to go. And this will be
I think this will just be a kill, and then the DK will back off after it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, they know that the Ogre is just way too tanky, and they didn't have spells up, so 1-for-1 exchange right there, but it's still a 2-for-1 lead in favor of DK in the overall thing. Well, how's mid going as far as last hits go? It's 4-1. It's early on. Ember has no CS, though.
Yep. Look at his health, man. He actually just regen. He was down to almost nothing. He was down to about a 3rd HP.
Oh, he spammed the meta level 1. That's exactly what I was talking about. I think that's the only way to play a TB mid against decent mid heroes like Ember.
Let's talk about the off lane. I think both of these heroes are going to be happy. Tide and Timber, probably just going to leave each other alone. Not easy to kill each other unless they get big rotations. Even then, still fairly difficult. So I think they're both just going to farm in each other's face for a while, which is good for both. I feel like it's actually going to benefit DK a little bit more, though, to have their Tide come online to find his 6 earlier, potentially. What up?
XX just wasted his Whirling Death on nothing. I think he misclicked there. It's pretty big deal, actually.
There's a rotation. There's going to be a stun on the Dream EU. They're going to turn around, throw out an Arcane Bolt. But no follow-up, so no action. So down at bottom, you said Dos Equis. He just blew a lot of mana, basically.
Yeah, he has a bottle coming out for him, but the Courier is actually walking top. Yeah, they really wanted to counter this. So that's good, but they won't have to pull for another minute or so. So that kind of sucks. And yeah, Dream EU really needs his, or XX really needs his bottle. This is one of the 1v1 matchups that actually it's really good against Tide. It's very difficult to find melee matchups 1v1 against Tide that actually do even okay. But I would say Timber saw his favor just because Whirling Death is so good against strength heroes. So this is actually, if they're able to stabilize up here in the top lane, I think this laning phase will be won by HGT. It's still really scary that that CTY is doing quite well in mid, because we know what Terrorblades can do in the later stages of the game. So they can maybe get a kill top and then maybe transition with the smoke king. Actually, they're already smoked. It looks like they tried to get a kill for CTY, but he knows this is happening as he's just sitting in his tower. So time wasted.
Yep, smoking back towards top. This sentry placed by DK, I think, still blocks this camp. And yeah, it does. It didn't respawn. So not only did they counterward the sentries of HGT, they reblocked. Now we're going to have Cold Snap out in front of the SMJ. Dreamy used right there. He already used his magic missile using the block. And let's see if they can fall. We're going to see XBG most likely drop, but it doesn't matter. Trading the Razor for XBG, well worth it. Does he have another? No, not enough mana for another stun. And Dreamy U going to back off. Let's see if they can catch and do enough damage. The mana count is not super high for that Skywrath, and yeah, he's not even going to try. So, 3-2. DK, I feel like, is doing just fine and dandy up in this top lane, getting good trades, and that is going to be the 3rd death on ZSMJ and his Razor, on his Razor. So, Razor, he can recover okay, but Lord knows you don't want him, especially in a tri-lane where his XP is already being sapped a bit. You don't want him to get any further behind than this. Like, he really needs to be just left alone for a while if they want him to really have an impact in the mid game.
Yeah, and call me crazy, but with the nerf to Static Link, and because 2 of these heroes have a lot, like Visage has 2 single target abilities, and the VS has 1. Call me crazy, but I think he should be leveling up actually Unstable Current. It's very effective against Visage, very effective against Vengeful Spirit too, especially early on. I think it would help him get away just a little bit further from those 2 supports so they can't do further damage after their spells are cast.
Right.
And also the Plasma Field got nerfed as well. It doesn't do nearly as much damage as it used to. So just food for thought. I think it would be quite effective, but we'll see.
I'll tell you what's effective is the way that DK is handling this lane. Even coming over, you know, grabbing the creeps that have been pulled over, like they are not being shut down at all. They're having their way up here. There's no other way to say it. Like they are completely bullying HGT around. HGT not even playing in a position where they can try to make something happen. There's going to be a static link, but the boots are going to make it so he doesn't get much damage at all. Stole 14, and that'll expire very, very soon. And they're going to continue to just do this. The other lanes need to go better. It looks like Ember Spirit got a kill in mid with the help of Pretty Haw, who had rotated there. So, at least that lane going a little better now. And you need to make sure you turn yourself on Dota TV trial.
Oh, shoot. I must have to reconnect. Give me a second, because sometimes I turned it on, but I think if I turn it on after I'm already in the game, it screws up. So I'll be right back.
Yep. Trav will be back in a moment. Pretty Haw in the meantime, coming from the south, drops himself a ward, giving them a little vision here at night to try and at least gauge what the threat level is going to be. ZSMJ, his CS, not the best, 14. The only non-support down that far right now. Juggernaut in the meantime, he's near the top. He's got 23. 24 for the Ember. So he's farming as well as the Ember Spirit mid is against the Terrorblade and as well as the Terrorblade. And they have potential. Yep, Magic Missile on the Kaka. There's going to be the Plasma Field. It's not going to matter. He didn't even get off a Fire Blast that time. The damage output is getting so high with 2 points now into Soul Assumption for XBG that they just can't even get a reprisal kill unless they do this. They go too far for it. He's not going to have a spin quite yet, but ZSMJ ate about half of his health. So at that point, is he going to be able to make it away? Yeah, Dreamy U's out. So they get a return kill, but once again, trading the Ogre for the Visage. Honestly, that time might have been a little bit more beneficial because at least the Razor was there to get the kill.
Yep, and he did get put 1 point into his unstable why do I keep saying stable concurrent? But whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one at level 5. I think it's really important this game, especially in this laning phase. Not even laning phase, just in general. Tide also has a single target ability. Terrorblade has 2. There's a lot of single target abilities, and I think that's when Razor's really effective. So look to see what he skills have for level 5. I think the unstable current would be very effective. We'll see here. Nope, he goes for a plasma field. Okay, more standard, I suppose, but thought unstable current would be good. Black Zed, how's he doing? He's got mana boots and 35 CS. He's actually top on the board. So despite laning up against Timbersaw, holding his own, it's not to say that he shouldn't do well in this lane, but Timbersaw is just quite good. Actually, look at that, how much damage he takes from a Whirling Death.
Yeah, he's got to be careful about that. And he does have Ravage now, though, so I don't think he's going to worry about being dove or anything. The Timber is probably a bit more worried about rotations, as right now DK does have a few away from there. In mid, we see XBG eating some levels. We're going to see a TP down to bottom from Cold Snap, and Doseki's thinking about it. I don't think he saw Cold Snap. It was going to be close. He's got a Ravage he might spend here. I don't think the two of them can kill him, though.
No, he might back away when he sees the HP. He's like, wait, I thought you didn't have any regen on you. So, yeah.
Magic Missile, he has Ravage. He's going to go ahead and Anchor Smash and spend it. Never mind. Max level Anchor Smash is a good ability. Here in mid, we're going to see a little bit of action as well. No one dropped yet. Dreamy used there with XBG. Pretty Haw's going to be able to catch him after the Fire Blast, though. Got him with the Silence and the Arcane Bolt, however. Everyone walking around with roughly half health, so everyone survives except the Timber. And this lineup for DK, here's what's scary. Like, you've got a Terrorblade who is pretty damn easy to gank early. Your lanes, you would think, would be pretty good. I mean, you've got 2 solid laners in the Skywrath and the Ogre. But looks like they are going to get Black Z, so at least a return kill here. But as of right now, these 4 heroes, the 4 non-TB heroes for DK, the Visage, the Tide, the Juggernaut, and the Venge, are all doing well enough that they're going to be able to make plenty of space for him to just farm by himself.
Yeah, I agree. And the scary thing for me is that despite the horrible slow start that ZSMJ has had, and I mean, he's got 3 deaths early on, hasn't been able to farm that much, I think he needs to still get active. And that's what I'm fearing. I'm fearing he's going to be like, I need to recover, guys. I need to just give me some space. But I don't think that's going to benefit. They're going to benefit from him trying to farm up this game. I think he needs to get maybe a core item like drums or something and just try to go fight. I don't think they can afford to have him farm up for BKB Ags. I think it's just going to be too slow.
We got 3 smoked from HGT. Up at top, they're just sitting and auto-attacking each other. Actually, we might have some action up there. Want to watch down here. Cold Snap's going to be dove at top. The action did break off. Cold Snap trying to get under his tower. He's going to be hemmed in. No help's coming. And oh, now they're coming. This is a little late. Pretty Haw's low, though, and he's going to die to the tower. And now the Juggernaut's there using the spin, trying to chase them out. One's running up. That is Black Z, but, of course, Ravage still on cooldown, so no follow-up there. In the meantime, and this is what we were talking about. They go 1 for 1 there. Avenge for a Skywrath, a wash, right? Problem is CTY is in mid-farming. And every exchange, they breaks even whenever they're ostensibly fighting 4 on 5, or especially whenever you invest that much manpower into an attempt to gank. It's troublesome. That's a nice kill, though. Here comes the Omni Slash, but he ends up dead as well. So they go 1 for 1. Kaka using that Ignite. He's going to have an Anchor Smash right now. Here comes Pretty Haw back into the action. He actually cracking through that. Now, Soul Assumption. One more auto attack will do it, and it does. Behind that, XBG chasing down Pretty Haw. Help coming in. And this will be enough to force them on the retreat. Ravage is up in 5 seconds, and they've got 3 here against the 2 of HGT. Air's got to be careful here. He's got a DD, and I'm sure he's feeling big and bad. But if they decide to send 1 more person down, they might be able to take just a flat 2 kills off of this Ravage, which just came off cooldown.
Yeah, and Tide's going for a mech first over a Blink, and normally I think just Blink is so much better, but in a game where you have a split pusher, I think it's fine for him to get mech because it forces the other team to come to you. You just push on with the other 4, and it forces them to come to you. And if they're spending a lot of time trying to fight into you, and if you have a mech, it's going to make it much more difficult to win those fights. In the meantime, you're creating space for the Terrorblade. So I actually like the mech first over the Blink onto the Tide. I think generally, if you're just doing very, very well early on, mech is a little bit better.
And they're going to go ahead and turn south. Pretty Haw caught from behind and blown up. They were a little indecisive about what target they wanted, but Pretty Haw hung around just long enough to make the decision quite easy. 9-7 now at 11 minutes in. Very, very active game, 16 kills in 11 minutes. The gold is favoring DK off of this. And again, this is, you know, it's not a huge lead, but the fact they have a lead at all when the Terrorblade is such an easy pick to punish at this stage whenever he really can't contribute a whole lot unless his team without him is just winning fights. You can't afford to fall behind right now. And CTY is a phenomenal mid and also a phenomenal farmer. As mentioned, played the one previously in his career, so he's not going to be lacking at GPM.
No, absolutely not. And there's actually an aggressive smoke coming out from DK. This Venge is level 7.5, man.
She's been in every fight. She's been everywhere.
Yeah, really, really good levels for the Venge. And, oh, can they get him? See, that's the extra movement speed coming into play with the unstable current. He's secondary maxing that, which it's... I've talked so much about the Purge, but the bonus movement speed is also very effective. As I bet if he has level 2 of that, he actually dies. I bet because that's how close it was. And in the meantime, Visage is actually going to die.
Yep, we got 4 at bottom. He was actually doing some nice harassment to air, but the troops arrive. And the Familiar is going to do some damage. Look at him chase that Skywrath Mage down. They do get the Visage himself. The Birds just burrowed before up at top. They're going to make another run at ZSMJ. Black has Ravage if there's any reaction coming at this tower. And there's going to be at least one. ZSMJ has the static link on. It looks like Dreamy U might want to bait this out. He's got a lot of help. Actually, they're a little too far spread out. Looked like they wanted to go around the end. If they were standing there waiting on these two to arrive, they would have probably killed them both. They still might get him. There's the magic missile. He's trying to get in range. Going to go ahead and blow it. ZSMJ makes it away, so not a problem there for him anyway. But they do get the Timber, another hero who really needs to snowball. Not a hero you want giving up this many deaths this early into this game.
Oh, Tide just activated the invis and then walked into range of the tower. I think that was seen. They're pinging out these birds. They really want to kill him, but at the very least, I guess it's a kill on the Timbersaw, not the Razor, although hold that thought because Razor could be still in some trouble here.
Yep, here's going to be another reaction. Stun onto ZSMJ, not going to... Oh, he actually is going to be able to make it away. His Dreamy U just TPs away. Thought he had the damage and didn't. Black Z's going to end up paying the price. Cold Snap wants to get the swap and does. And, okay. All right, then. Had Magic Missile ready. Did he hit the wrong button or what?
I don't know. Well, he swapped and it purged himself. That's what I'm talking about, man. He swapped and then he just stood there. He had the intention of walking up to stun him afterwards, but when you get purged for that long, it just you can't move. It's like it's trying to turn around with 5 stacks of napalm on you. He had the mana and the cooldown was off for Magic Missile. Why would you take the time to swap at all? Like ZSMJ was so low it didn't matter. If he just throws Magic Missile, he kills him. I didn't see the beginning, but my thought is like maybe he just didn't account for the extra levels in Unstable Current and he wanted to get a safe kill with swap. I don't know.
Oh, air in trouble. These Familiars have been harassing him everywhere. We'll be able to rim them away. But I've been trying to dart the camera down. There's been a lot of action at top. But down at bottom, the Visage player has really, XBG. He's been doing a phenomenal job of harassing supports, harassing the Ember, making it hard to farm with the Birds. So even though he's not getting kills with them, he is really causing a disruption while the rest of his team makes things happen elsewhere. And guess who's been left basically alone this entire time? This guy, level 11, CTY. We're going to see Dreamy U show himself up at top. There's going to be the Chakram. He's going to spin on out. And he's going to go right under the tower. That's static link. Not allowed to steal a lot of damage. Birds are going to be spotted by Kaka, but not brought down. And they've got... At what point do they just sell out and say, we have to kill CTY? Because he's already got a Yasha, man. It's 15 minutes in. He's got Trez, Yasha, Aquila.
I think when a couple more key items come up, like Ember Spirit's actually farming very well. He's going to have his Battlefield a good time. But the big thing is, wow, I'm actually surprised he has a mech now. So Razor does have the mech. I heard a spin, but I thought this was going to be much later. I saw the headdress, but this is a full completed mech, so I would say now. Now is a perfect time to fight. That Razor is going to be super tanky.
DK just got theirs as well. Tide just finished it. He has Ravage, and they're going to smoke 3, plus a few birds around the edge. They're going to spot ZSMJ here. Where are they heading? It seems like, I guess they just want to get a ward down before they loop around. But they have to assume if ZSMJ's playing that, he's not alone. And yeah, oh, this could be so bad if they get a good Ravage. Here we go. Pretty Haw spots it out. He gets off the concussive shot, but the Ravage catches both of them. ZSMJ down to half health, has the mech. He'll use it. Tide has has held on to it. Might use it now and will. Cold Snap chasing him down. Magic Missile has it, uses it, but ZSMJ continues to kite. Kaka now going to make it under his tower with his teammates. Dreamy U chasing him down. They're going to be able to get the Ogre for sure. And here comes Dos Equis, punishing this aggressiveness. Dreamy U likely to drop along with the Tide. It's a 2 for 2 so far. They really want it to be a 3 for 2. Wand charges keep him alive a little longer, but not long enough. as they grab him down in the river. But CTY in the meantime split pushing with Metamorphosis, and look already at the amount of damage with 2 auto attacks and 2 illusions. He chunked ZSMJ down at least 1/3 of his health, so we're already beginning to see how huge he's getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to have his mats up pretty soon, but all in all, nice team fight from HGT, and they did that with the Skywrath casting absolutely nothing. So I'm wondering, like, this Bloodlust is going to come into play and be very effective. Again, once we get this core item up onto air, I think they start getting a lot more aggressive. They can start right now. Actually, CTY in some trouble.
Nope, he's got the invis. They still have vision of him?
He can think they do. Yeah, he can sunder if he wants to. But yeah, he still has invis on him.
Yep, I was wondering. Like, it looked like they were pursuing him as if they had some sort of detection up ahead, but they didn't. So he does manage to make it away. Close call for him now. That would have been a huge kill if they got it.
Huge, but it seems like, you know, the previous games we've watched where he's like 1-4-0, doesn't really matter. As long as they're not significantly slowing down his farm, I don't even think kills matter that much. It's kills into huge objectives, like kill into tower into Roche, or kill into 2 towers. But if they're just getting kills, it's not that big of a deal.
We get a 4-man smoke from HGT. Believe this is to try to find CTY, but they see him now in mid. And they're going to head in that general direction. They have a target near mid, that's XBG. And yeah, they're definitely looking for CTY. They're even heading along the high side here instead of cutting directly across mid. And let's see if they can find someone. The smoke's got about 1/5 time left on it. They do take the tier 1 at bottom for free, and CTY is going to be spotted. Kaka should have gotten an eye on him, and he does. Pinged him out. Very aggressive farming out of CTY. This is the kill they've been needing. And they're going to catch him from behind with the Chakram, concussive shot, and blown apart. And DK's actually running into this. This feels like a misplay. Way out of position. They may get Cold Snap. He's going to be ignited. He's going to be caught from behind with the Arcane Bolt. Black Z does have his Ravage if he wants it. And looks like they are just going to commit to this. They should have just run. Now Cold Snap going to be mech'd up. Concussive shot's going to catch Black Z from behind. They make it to the high ground. And they're going to try to do something here. There's going to be the Ravage, but the Mystic Flare went off. It's a 1-for-1, make it a 2-for-1 now. And they're coming back in, though. XBG trying to do what damage he can. Dreamy U using that spin. They're just everywhere right now. XBG is going to try to TP out while the Visage Birds harass out the Ember Spirit. Can they get Cold Snap? Dos Equis right on him. Earn Charge going to help. And Dreamy U turns, gives him a shot in the back, and that's enough to turn him away. Ember trying to use Sleight of Fist, but unable to do so. So a rather long and drawn-out fight. But at the end of it, DK down a kill to HGT, 15-14.
2 supports for a Tide that used Ravage. Not too bad for HGT. I think they could have got more if they played their cards right and focus fire just a little bit better, but Razor's still getting decent farm, and his level's right up there with CTY. Obviously, CTY is a bit more farm, but he was dead for the beginning of the engagement, so it's not like he was split pushing entirely. He wasn't getting that much. There's a TP here in mid. They're not going to catch him, though. How's the Visage's farm? I'm wondering how close he is to Ag. He's actually not too far, about 1,200 gold for him, so that's pretty damn good.
Talking about air, he is drawing closer to his Battle Fury. He has the Perseverance, the drums, and the Poor Man's already up. And he should be able to buy Claymore very, very soon. Looks like they want to push him in the meantime, though. And this is what they need to do. Like, if you're up, we've seen it. When you're up against a Terrorblade, you have to keep the pressure on. You have to shrink the map and give him less places to find gold. And you have to take objectives. Ravage is down. They know that. So this is a wonderful time for them to fight. And they may just sack this. They should, really. I'm not even sure why they're standing around. I don't think they can fight without Ravage. Especially with CTY elsewhere. And Dreamy U spins back. They do put up a bit of a fight. Just trying to delay in time for CTY to get some damage done. Oh, he actually did manage to get away. Looked like he might have overstayed his welcome, but ends up doing a lot of damage to this tier 2 in exchange for the tier 1.
Yeah, nice TP positioning there. That could have been very, very bad, though, if he got caught. They would have lost him and a tower for nothing. So I'm wondering how this Juggernaut's going to start to transfer or transition into the later stages of the game. Oh, XX misses his Whirling Death right there, but wasn't going to get the kill anyway. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this Jug transfers. I think right now he's just going to be like, if he can pick off a support with just his Omni Slash and then throw down a Healing Ward for the TB, then I think that'll be good. But if they get some Ghost Scepters up on this, I think they really need to aim for Ghost Scepters, by the way. They're really good this game. Against the Visage Birds, against Juggernaut, against TB, and all his illusions. I think that's like priority 1 for these supports, or at least 4 staff, one of those 2.
Something worth mentioning, taking a look at the KDAs, we saw how quickly that Venge got leveled. They're going to take this tower as well. As that SMJ lands in, he may try to get pursued, but the birds are there to give him cover if he needs it. And he's going to phase, and yeah, he's going to go ahead and spin just TP. Playing it very, very safe, and this is actually a huge waste of time for HGT as they rotated quite a many up there. I guess they're going to try to push through to tier 2, but this is just such a totally different situation. Like, we saw how easily they took the tier 1, but when they know Ravage is up, and I don't know if they've seen the blink yet. Have they? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think he just got it.
So they may be assuming he has a blink soon. Coming into this situation is actually a lot more risky than it seems. And they're going to be rotating in a handful. And yeah, they're going to recognize this and just immediately back off.
They're picking out a ward, so that they either saw or suspect that there's a vision here, so that'll probably fade away soon. Something coming in the courier, it is an ultimate orb. So well on his way to what's presumably a Scotty. This seems to be the favorite build here between both CTY and ZYF. I was going to say one more thing about the Ember. Oh, he does have his Battle Fury completed now, so it's good for him.
Decent timing as well, especially since he went drums first. Like, it's actually pretty damn good timing. In terms of net worth, he's near the top, but the TB is opening up a bit of a gap. And, you know, again, I hate to sound so fatalistic about it, but this is what scares me for HGT, is how many times have we seen a game go 40, 50 minutes and the Terrorblade is in the middle of the pack in terms of net worth for the entire game. Then suddenly he shows up with every item in his inventory, 4 or 5 slotted, and he just rolls over people. And that's with Midland gold gain compared to the rest of the field. And this time he's right on top. So I mean, it's within reach. I mean, it's not like he's opened up a 3,000-4,000 gold gap yet, but he's going to if they don't account for him soon. And they have to continue to take towers. I feel like this bottom tier 2 is actually remarkably important for them. They've got the tier 1 down in mid, but the jungle, obviously, where Terrorblade wants to live when he wants to farm safely. If they can get in there and take this tier 2 and begin to take this jungle away, they'll slow him down substantially.
I think HGT should go for a Roshan here relatively soon. They're pushing out bottom. The thing I fear for HGT is not so much just the Terrorblade, but it's the ability of DK to split push and out-farm HGT. Because the cool thing about Jug, at least in this match, is that they have no way to cancel spin TP. Nothing. And I don't think any of these heroes are going to go for a Basher. Like, maybe the Emperor Spirit, but I don't think I've ever actually seen that. So they have no way to clean that, or to deal with that. So he can push up as far as he wants to. He pretty much can never die if he gets his spin off before a silence. So there's that. TB is already just a natural good split pusher, and then you add the Axe Burge into that, which are coming up at 500 gold. They have a very good split pushing lineup, and they have decent team fight too with the Tide Ravage. So that's the one thing I fear. If HGT don't get some successful smoke eggs or at least big objectives with Roshan, I think they're going to get out farmed entirely.
Yeah, I think we're of one mind there. CTY is going to be a part of this fight if it does indeed happen. HGT has a good spread. Looks like they might want to retreat. And they do. They're just going to back off, but not entirely. At least they're going to farm the jungle on the way out if they do decide to vacate. And looks like that's the plan. But you can see by the warding, both of these teams valuing the exact same pieces of real estate. One down here for HGT. One up here keeping an eye on the whole jungle. There's a defensive ward from DK to make sure that if the Terrorblade is farming near his own tier 2 bottom, which he was, and he actually got saved dying there because of that ward. And then in mid, also just basically trying to keep an eye on this main hub of farm, the mid lane through jungle. And I'm with you. I feel like Roshan, towers, I mean, are of importance, but I feel like just being able to shrink the map really is the importance of towers in this game, not so much any other part of the objective.
And as far as items, I think HGT just all tank up. Just get every survive. I don't think they need damage. I think they just need to survive the Ravage and the burst that comes after that. And if they can do that, then I think they'll be fine. I don't think Terrorblade is farmed enough just yet to where he can completely take over a team fight. He definitely needs Scotty before that, and then maybe even another item. But right now, if they survive the Ravage plus Omni Slash or the multiple nukes from Visage, and they can back away, mech up, and re-engage the fight, they'll be fine. So in that sense, just tank up. Get as many tank items as you can. Skywrath has enough to buy a Ghost Scepter if he wants it. I still think that's going to be very good for him. Shiva's on the way for Timber. And then finally a BKB up for ZSMJ. So I think that's the item to go. I don't think they want to wait too much longer. And
well, looks like this could be so bad. They're going to get both of them. There's going to be the Ravage. The rest of the team's going to come in. They need the burst down. ZSMJ gets off the BKB, but the Omni Slash went off first, so that's going to be one clean kill on him. Let's see if they can catch anyone. Venge does not have level 2 swaps. They're not going to be able to use that. Timbersaw's going to Timber Chain away. Black with that blink, though. Able to jump pretty hard, and down he goes. He even had a DD to make it that much simpler. The rest of HGT now on the run, and look who's farming. Just doing his thing. CTY going Scotty, it would seem. Already has one ulti orb, might even have two.
He has the whole thing, actually.
Oh, does he have the whole thing?
Yeah.
Is it on the courier?
Well, he's going to buy it right now.
That's absurd. I didn't know he had one already bought. That is insane.
And Visage
they're going to take Roche, too.
Yeah.
While we have a moment of downtime, if you can, Trout, we are getting a little bit of pickup on your breathing. If you could just move the mouthpiece back a smidgen.
Sure.
Yeah. No problem. I didn't even hear it, honestly, but been informed by the closed circuit troll monitor that it's something I needed to inform you to correct. But I mean, we haven't even looked at the gold chart. This doesn't surprise me. It's even, but it has swung in favor of DK now. But it shouldn't be. Like, this is when HGT, especially with a BKB up on the Razor, who this is, he's got a Razor, he's got a BKB and a mech. He's caught up well. This is when he should be feeling unassailable. But they're getting the advantage in terms of initiation. They're capitalizing on it. Their target prioritization is on point. And I feel like they're just outplaying HGT, and HGT is doing nothing about it. They're giving up too much ground in these engagements.
Well, they have the right idea right now, which is group up and push with Ravage down. Because without Ravage right now in the mid game, I think HGT is much stronger. It's about how much ground can DK cover until they reach the late stage of the game where Terrorblade is just going to take over the entire game. And Ravage is slowly cooling down, 25 seconds. If they can hold this up until Ravage comes up, then they will definitely fight with Ravage. But so in that sense, HGT, hopefully they took their Ravage timer down, because yeah, it's going to be up in 15 seconds. Not going to be able to push this in time. And did they actually? I wasn't really paying attention. Did they get Roche on Radiant? Yeah. Oh god, that's on the TB
they definitely did. Yep.
It's so big.
He can go fight right now. Like, he doesn't need to wait on another item, I don't think. At least while he has the Aegis, yeah.
Oh no, and they've waited too long. The Ravage is up. Like, they will fight this no matter what. DK is ready to fight.
They get another 2 or 3 man Ravage that catches ZSMJ. This game is going to just completely fall apart in their faces. And they honestly seem a little indecisive. Like, they're spending all this time in this jungle here, but no one's taking the jump. And I know it's hard, but this slow push really isn't working. They've got Dreamy U out front because, like you said, he can spin, he can Omni Slash his way to safety if he's the one they're engaged upon. It wouldn't surprise me if they smoke here. They're going to send out the Terrorblade Illusion to try and catch someone. And let's see. I'm a little surprised they didn't, actually. Cold Snap has a smoke, and it said just going to send that Illusion to farm. There are plenty of wards who see it now. So, yep, looks like HGT just has to pull back. Wait it out. But I think they're running out of time to wait.
They're walking uphill, I think, to smoke, just in case there was a ward up there. It was close. Oh, it was so close, right on the line there to where they would see that. Here we go.
Ravage is here. Oh, Ty blinked just in time. That's going to be just enough to maybe allow him to turn around with a Ravage. Just because he blinked there, he's not going to be able to blink back in and re-engage, but that's a wasted smoke, as we're going to see XBG and CTY able to vacate the jungle. They are both spotted by wards, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch them in time. CTY got body blocked by the creeps a little bit. He doesn't have a TP scroll, so he's got to be very, very careful. And HGT, once again, trying to take over this jungle. And this is a nice step to slow down the TB, but I don't know how they transition now. I don't know how you try to take a fight unless CTY just walks into a multicast, I guess. But there's no follow-up.
Yeah, he's at Aegis for another 2 minutes, so he doesn't care. Yeah, it's kind of like a stalemate right here, but when it's a stalemate and it's even, it obviously favors a TB. And they also have a secondary carry, not so much as the Jug, but honestly the Visage is going to get really huge if this keeps going on in a passive way. Also has a gem, so it's going to be very, very good for them to de-ward, which there are a lot of wards here on the side of DK, so... yeah, I suspect if they can't make anything happen, HGT is just going to get run over here in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to try to get some usage out of this Aegis, as they're now pushing down bottom lane. HGT, oh, did he spot it? Black Z, I don't think he did. I don't know if there's a gap there where he could have had vision. Black Z's in such a good spot. If they come forward at all to fight, they're going to end up being caught in a massive Ravage. They get the tower.
Oh, no.
Oh,
he blew the
What
Ravage.
happened there? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Was his blink on? His blink wasn't on cooldown because he ran and then blinked out.
I don't know, man. That was really weird.
Celebratory Ravage, I suppose.
I wonder
this is a good chance for them to put the counter push.
I think HGT actually saw the edge of it.
No, they did. They immediately chakrammed into the woods where he was.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, that was weird. That was awkward.
Yeah. I'm a little confused, but this is a great opportunity for them now. They lost the tier 2, and now knowing Ravage is down, this might be their last chance to fight on even terms. In fact, CTY knows it. He's already split off. He's going elsewhere. They're just going to try to run a delay tactic here, buy him some more farm. They already have air, though, but he does have... He put a remnant somewhere down here. It's already gone, though, so he will just TP in. In the meantime, in mid, they've backed off. ZSMJ is going to go ahead and take some damage from the illusion for free. Does get the deny on his own tower.
Oh, actually, the TB got the tower kill.
Oh, so, did he? Yeah. I thought he did. Oh, yeah, you're right. I thought he got the deny.
And the TB is just preventing HGT from getting any ground on this map by split pushing both top and mid at the same time. So they have to dedicate either the Ember or someone else to one of these lanes, or if not both. So they can never get any objectives. Even though the Aegis is actually gone now, CTY's almost got another tier 4 item. Probably, I'm guessing Butterfly is going to be the next one. Or even even BKB would be pretty damn good. PKB would be the safe
BKB
item.
Here. Yeah. I like BKB here a lot. And net worth-wise, he has opened up that gap now. Air is staying close-ish. He's about 2,000 gold behind him, but the Razor has fallen off completely. Now they have a chance to grab him in mid. He doesn't have that Aegis, does have a Manta if he needs it. He may use it here. May use it here. Yep, there it is. I was wondering how long I was going to take him. Now he's going to continue to retreat. He's got a team on the way. Visage Familiars are there, and HGT wisely decides not to pursue. But we saw right there, that was as alone by himself as he could have been, and they still couldn't kill him.
Oh, yes, of course. It's a heart. So he's got a heart.
LOL.
So his illusions and himself are much more tanky now. I still think his illusions are actually going to get owned by the AoE, but he himself is very tanky, so I guess that's all that matters.
I don't know where you go from here. I mean, ZSMJ picked up a Maelstrom. Pretty Haw has the Ghost Scepter that you talked about. Good item. Ogre Magi, nowhere near one, only has an urn. Air's going to be hitting hard, but he's not going to have enough time to use Sleight of Fist enough to do the damage that he can do. Like, Ember tends to excel in long, drawn-out fights, and I don't think they're going to be that long and drawn out. No one on the side of HGT feels tanky at all right now, and Terrorblade's a raid boss. So here we go. They're going to try to jump air. Let's see if they're on top of it.
No.
Ooh. Remember when Ravage was super fast? And whenever you cast, it was guaranteed to hit everyone, basically. Good example of that nerf coming into play right there. Good reaction, though, from Air to get away.
Yeah, definitely good reaction just having the remnant over. But also, if you're watching the rhythm of, like, what he was going to do after that creep wave ended, it almost seemed like that was going to happen no matter what. Like, that's just...
Right.
Like, he wasn't going to farm another wave. He'd be stupid if he did. So what's the next best thing to be the most efficient about it is just remnant away right away. So I think you need to go a split second earlier. Even if the Ravage wasn't going to be at the center of his hero. So.
Oh, SMJ is getting some free damage from that illusion. Got to be on top of that as he manages to sap off 84. Knowing Ravage is down, they're going to try. This is their best bet, is to try to bait bad Ravages and then fight around it. If they can do that, they're going to be okay-ish. But they still have to account for the fact that you can't have Ravage down all the time. And they get another objective, but look at bottom. CTY already up to the tier 3 and even putting a chunk on it.
That's what I'm talking about, though. The heart actually doesn't really help your illusions at all. Like, that nerf was pretty big. One Sleight of Fist actually knocked the illusions from full to nothing, with a couple of creeps by him for extra cleave. So I don't know if I'm sold with this heart, man. I think BKB or Butterfly would have been much more effective. Because normally you get heart on heroes that have illusions, like Naga, but like I said, with a recent nerf it was actually a pretty big nerf on the illusions, their intake damage. I don't think heart was... Yeah, I don't know. Not sold on it, but we'll see. I mean, he's still a ridiculously strong hero. I'm sure that once we have Ravage up, their fights will go much better. And one more final thing to note is that the Razor, if he does get Static Link and he gets a good duration on it, he benefits greatly from attack speed items. Because if he's going to get raw damage from that, and the best way to couple raw damage is with attack speed, and that's where Bloodlust is actually going to pay dividends. So we'll have to see if he gets a very good static link and has Bloodlust on him and doesn't die immediately to the Ravage. He's going to be hitting really fast and really hard.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that. What worries me is if Terrorblade goes BKB and gets it, which if he wants it, he'll have it soon. He's got 2,500 gold already. There's a refresher from the Juggernaut, actually, so fun build from him. And, oh, wow.
Ember, you see that?
Yeah, he just fed the birds. If you were watching them at all he had to do was burrow them. But, anyway, I mean, his damage is solid. But the Terrorblade with that heart, if he goes BKB, I just don't know that it's going to matter. He's going to do that one time, and he's just going to jump air, and that'll be the end of it. And he actually is going to use Metamorphosis up here at top. Looks like they're ready to push at least tier 2. They may be thinking maybe high ground.
Maybe. I don't know, man. This Ember is really kept up in farm. I'm very impressed, actually, with how air is played. Hasn't died yet this game. 300 CS. Right on the tail on net worth with CTY. They're going to give up this tower top, it looks like, but it's going to be for a Roshan.
Yep, moving on into the pit. 2 very aggressive wards down, and I'm sure DK knows this is going on. They don't see anyone on the map. They don't see anyone trying to defend the tower, so they're going to assume. This Rosh is actually not dropping fast at all, by the way.
It's not.
Like, not even a little. They may have to abandon this.
This reminds me of Game 3 EG versus Vici.
Yeah.
Where it took them forever to take the Roshan, and they just lost their racks.
Yeah, like, they're going to have to get down there soon. They're playing very cautiously.
CSMJ also has no TP scroll, so he has to rush there. Okay, no, they're not pushing, so thank God for that.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity from DK. And I think that had to do with the Metamorphosis wearing off. Meta wore off, and they backed off immediately, but I don't know if that's a good trade. They had plenty of time to react and maybe try to stop that Roshan. It would have been a long way to go, though. They don't have anything in mid and anything in bottom, so I don't know. At least they get a little bit of damage done to the tier 3, though.
Yeah, they didn't really have too much vision. There's a refresher orb for Black Z, so it really comes down to his Ravage, honestly. I don't know, though. I keep saying, like, I don't think TB is going to do too much in this fight. They have good counters to him where this is really good and this hero's really farming this
Remember
side.
against Gyrocopter last night?
Yeah, I'm wrong every single friggin' time, so I'm not even going to say that, but I still will stress the importance of a good Ravage.
Air gets the Searing Chains off. And being pursued, but don't think they're going to be able to catch him. Cold Snap does have level 2 swap, so that's at least worth mentioning. If he can catch someone out of position up at top, CTY with an Invis is right on top of Kaka. And Kaka's by his lonesome. Nope, never mind. There's Dos Equis. I thought Dos Equis had cut off down the river instead. Spots out Pretty Haw as well. And this is going to be wearing off soon. He needs to get out. He's going to be caught with this. Yeah, there you go. Like, he only had a few seconds left, but he's going to go ahead and make an illusion and send it down lane.
He can even Manta too and TP out if he wants to. They're going to be so confused about that. They're going to be like, where the hell did this illusion come from?
2 TPs coming in quickly. There's oh, he actually got him with the gush. There's a Timber Chain away. And wow, ZSMJ playing this aggressively, has help coming from behind. So was willing to try to bait out a fight that time. All 5 are right there near the Radiant Secret Shop. And they're going to try to put some pressure on here in mid. And so far they're successful. Down at bottom, Dreamy U is split pushing, and Air's going to show up. He's going to immediately...
Oh my god!
Oh, they got him! Air's damage showing itself in a big underestimation of just how long he had to live from Dreamy U as he feeds one to the Ember.
Oh man, I don't know about that play. Did you see what he did at the end there? He canceled
he
his
used the
TP.
stick charges.
Yeah, he canceled his TP to use his stick. I mean, he was not living at all if he didn't get that TP off. I would rather take my chances and hope that he doesn't do enough damage for the final auto attack. But, I mean, he probably was dead either way, but that was just an interesting decision. Static Link coming out onto the illusion. One of the few good things that Razor has going for him is that he has lots of targets for that Static Link.
Looks like they're ready to fight. I mean, as they should be. Jug still 20 seconds off. I'm sure by now, yeah, the tide blinked on him down at bottom, so someone, I'm sure, checked his inventory, saw the refresher. BKB status, Razor has his. It's in 9 seconds, so in good shape there. No BKB for the Timber. No BKB for Air. Kaka laughs at the idea of having a BKB, and at least the Ghost Scepter for Skywrath. And yeah, they're not going to fight. They got nothing accomplished there, so they get the pick, but their Aegis is going to be expiring soon, too. I actually feel like they're beginning to get into missed opportunity territory, and there's a butterfly on the big boy. So CTY just continues to get into beast mode.
Yeah, but these bots are really being effective from air. Like, he's split pushing faster than the TB now. And if he can get back mid, actually they're already split pushing, or not split pushing, but just pushing out mid the regular heroes. So I think air is playing phenomenally on HGT. Really keeping them in this. Has another item right now if he wants it. What could this be? BKB if he wants to be really safe and just stay in the fights and not worry about having to like kite around for so long so he can really get off his damage. He knows the birds are there. He actually tried to snipe them out. If you got a crit, they would all die. So
third Battle Fury. That's what I want to see.
Third Battle Fury. It certainly would be effective. Someone did the math on Reddit and said that 3 is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I remember reading that post. I'm not a carry player, and I play very little Terrorblade, but I try to keep up on the math and the theory crafting. If there's one thing that our Dota 2 is good for, is you will get some interesting numbers. Like the discussion, hit and miss sometimes. But if you see somebody busting out the Google Doc spreadsheet, usually you're going to be in good stead, because it's like Reddit is like its own self-enforced peer review system. Like if you're going to assert something, you had better be willing to review it and give the numbers, or someone's going to call you out on it. One thing I like about it.
XX is in no man's land, by the way.
Oh, got swapped. Beautifully timed. No, are they going to be able to go? Oh, they got him with the Omni Slash. Oh, beautiful set of plays as they bring down the Timbersaw bottom. ZSMJ is trying to punish them by pecking away at the tier 3. That was so good in so many ways, using the ultis to disjoint the Timber Chain. Then they caught him amidst the TP. Beautifully played from DK. And now they're on the charge. They're going to try to catch them. Dreamy U going to spin through that concussive shot. I think the rest of HGT is fast enough it's not going to matter. At top, CTY is in split push position, but Air sniffing it out, wisely already in position to shove that lane out. And is Morpheus going to fight Neo? Is Morpheus going to fight Neo? Oh, I don't think they want to.
And he goes for an MKB, too, in response to the butterfly from TB, so I like that decision. He's essentially maxed out right now. And he's going to have buyback gold as well. So, first of all, I don't know what the hell Timbersaw was doing there. And his Timber Chain was really bad, too. He should have just went full range anywhere to see if he could have tried to disjoint the ult from Jug. Also, a little peculiar to me is that Jug refreshed the ult right away, even though they got the kill. I don't think that's an ult that you have to refresh right away, because the cooldown with the Ags is very, very low. It's only 70 seconds.
Well, there's no reason not to. I mean, like, well, I guess you're right.
I think on low cooldown ultis, you don't really want to, because you want to have the double ulti.
Yeah, you're right.
Like if it was a Tide ulti or, Silencer
Black
ulti.
Hole.
Yeah, Black Hole. That makes more sense, but on a low cooldown one, sure. Maybe he thought they were going to engage right away toward the bottom, but couldn't find it.
You're 100% right. I honestly just completely forgot how low that cooldown really is.
I actually thought it was 90 when it before. Oh, no.
They got air. Are they going to be able to do anything? Nope. They have to get a silence. Like, I don't even know why you Ravage there. Like, if you don't have a silence, you are not going to kill him with these heroes. You're not. It's not going to happen. You don't do damage that way.
Was Venge not in range? He must not have been in range to get the follow-up stun. I think if he even just that one stun, the extra stun lock.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they kill him. He's not very tanky. He was tanky. He was tanky initially because he had the flame guard on him, but to auto attacks, he dies in a second. So he must not have been in range. But I agree. I think maybe Venge gets a blink right now. Venge has a weird item build, by the way. He's got phased drums and urn, but I think blink would be really good for him.
The item pickup for the Ember, of course, was the MKB, which makes the most sense given Terrorblade does have a butterfly. And at 45 minutes in, this game was packed with kills to begin with, and now we've slowed down 33 and 45. The goal graph honestly doesn't feel like it matters at all this game. Sometimes you just have games that way where you can glean something from that, but when you have two heroes that are neck and neck in terms of net worth that are very strong in two very different ways, the Ember and the Terrorblade, at that point it comes down to support play and initiation. Like, which one is going to be initiated upon the best? Which of your secondary role players for CTY, that of course being the Juggernaut, and for HGT, that of course being the Timbersaw and or the Razor. Like, who's going to be able to do the most damage? Who's going to be caught out the worst? So right now, I feel like a lot of the success on both sides is really relying on the Timbersaw and the Tidehunter, respectively.
Yeah, interesting item build here coming out from Razor as well. He's got the Mjolnir, which is typically good against illusion heroes. So that's fine. And now he's going for a heart, which is good, makes him tanky. I still think Axe is just the build for him. It helps out with one of HGT's weaknesses, this lineup, and that's they don't have too much push. But with the Ags, they actually have decent push, but he's opted out of going for that, so their push is going to be on the back of can we wipe them in a team fight, or at least get, 3 of them dead. But they can't really pressure the lane. They can't just, like, siege the base slowly and back off, because no one else pushes well on this team.
Both teams just dodging each other. Air's out there a bit by himself again, and he will be spotted if he comes to lane. And nope, just going to leave. Bails out skis. CTY shows himself, has his whole team with him. Roche is going to be up very soon, less than a minute now. And I think it bodes very poorly for DK if they let the Roche go to HGT uncontested. Like, I think they have to fight this now, especially with 2 Ravages available.
And Ember Spirit bought a BKB. So he's got double Battle Fury, Daedalus, MKB, BKB.
And bots. He's 6-slotted. He's fully 6-slotted
with a buyback. So
yep.
Really good for him. If he wants to as well, he can buy a refresher so he can refresh his bots if he needs to. Like, push out a wave. He can throw Remnant down, bots, back to base, refresh it, bots top, push out that wave, then go back to the Remnant. I know it sounds crazy, but basically he pushed out 3 lanes at once.
Up swap. They got ZSMJ, nap it in the river. BKB goes off, not going to need Ravage, not going to be able to use it. There's a refresher, but the Omni Slash continues to go, and Dreamy You just slashed him from one edge of the river to the other. Big pick. They lost the Venge amidst all of it. Doseki shows himself. Kaka's there as well, and he is going to back off. I didn't even hear where that was. What did he Ravage? Up on the high ground? There we go. And there's going to be the second one. Kaka caught on the high ground. Doseki's going to re-engage. Kaka should be able to make it away and will, and Black 4-staff down to the low ground. Now Dreamy You chopping away at him. As Doseki's now trying to react to CTY. CTY. Oh, Searing Chains. And CTY is not survivable at all. Sitting on top of the Chakram. There's going to be the Sunder, though. And that'll be enough to buy him time. Is he going to go back in? He thought about it. I was wondering if he's going to Searing Chains, but it was on cooldown. 5 seconds. 18 to 18. A bit of an awkward trade on both sides. That refresher Omni Slash is fun to watch. He started that Omni Slash, right about here, and finished it with Razor running right about here.
He actually refreshed it and reactivated it while he was still Omni Slash.
Yep.
That was pretty sick to watch. Really nice play by Dreamy You there. No buyback there from Razor, as he just bought his heart. And he needed they needed like a 4-staff or something, but they don't have that. He was BKB'd anyway. Actually, they do have a 4-staff on Ogre, but he was BKB'd, so it wouldn't happen. And Rax go down top to the Visage and the TB split push. So very big win there for DK.
Yep, taking the fight, getting the pick, and as we saw, CTY was doing work elsewhere. And the Roshan should feel a little bit easier for them now. Just to build on something you said, though, that really has had as large an impact as anything in this game. We do see bots now coming out on the Terrorblade, so a little late. He's actually got 1 boot for each foot now, keeping his treads, at least for the moment. But he'll replace those soon, I'm sure, as he's got about 6,000 gold. But the early bots pickup, as you said, on the Ember, has really allowed him to just get so far ahead. Even in front of CTY, even though the net worth is literally, look at this, literally dead even. For a brief second there, it was actually totally in sync. He's just been able to manage the map so well. And he is hitting hard. And with the BKB, he's going to have a chance to stay in these fights. I wasn't a big fan of the follow-up Ravages there from Black Z. I did not like that he spent them in that situation. They end up giving up a Roshan because of it, as both were on cooldown, both the Refresher and the Ravage. This is getting to the point where if buybacks are going to matter so much. Razor does not have one. The Terrorblade does. Like, if either of these teams loses a fight near their own tier 3, they're going to have to buy back immediately. And then if they lose, it's game over. Like, we've just hit that point of the game with this much damage coming out of the Ember and the Terrorblade, respectively.
Oh, they spot him out here. They know he's here. Can they cancel the TP? They couldn't.
Oh!
Couldn't get the Searing Chains.
Oh, tough effort. That would have been a pretty damn big pick. In the meantime, Ravage has come off cooldown. And this game, so close. 4,000 gold, 10,000 experience actually is in favor of HGT, so at least a measurable lead in levels. But really, again, just the nature of these compositions, that doesn't matter nearly as much as what the playmakers have to do. They need good Ravages from Black Sea. They need the Venge to be in the right position to stun priority targets, namely the Ember if they can get him. They need these things to happen. Or I think I'm coming around. I think HGT, I'd like their composition better, barring a good 3-4-man Ravage with a good follow-up stun on the Ember.
I don't know. I really don't like this item build from CSMJ. I think if he went, first of all, like, Manta over the Heart, like, because the Heart, yeah, you seem tanky, but being able to pop the illusions during the Omni Slash is going to effectively make you way more tanky than some raw HP, like way more tanky. It could even give you the chance to just completely nullify the ultimate if you spread appropriately. And then I think just Ags would have been the better choice, but hold that thought as we actually finally have a 5-man push here in mid.
Let's see how they want to take it. We're going to wait on the Ravage. Ravage, again, essential. Air, the primary target, though ZSMJ, as you said, is hitting hard. Black Sea is in position. There's a good spread from HGT. Trying to guarantee that there is a Blink Ravage only catches 2, and they're just going to back off. They have to. Look at CTY by himself. Once again, taking racks. Or attacking the racks. He's actually got this melee racks down to half health with just the illusion. He's trying to chase him out, and they're going to catch him with the Mystic Flare, and they do get him. He's down for 90 seconds. He does have buyback if he wants to.
He killed the racks.
Yeah, he got the racks, though. I was watching that. Didn't even notice they had caught him in lane. But yeah, that illusion almost killed Pretty Haw by itself.
Oh my god. Yeah, he has a full
Abyssal
AC.
from Juggernaut, by the way. An Abyssal Blade.
Oh my god. And he can refresh it too.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I'm really impressed specifically with Dreamy U this game. I didn't think the Juggernaut was going to be too effective later on at this stage of the game, but he's proven that to be... oh, he passes right by a Remnant. Is he going to go to this? He has a haste for so he's very fast. Yeah, I am impressed by him because I thought the Juggernaut was going to fall off, and I'm also impressed with the Ember Spirit. I think he's played phenomenally in this game. Hasn't even died yet, still 4-0 and 6. He's actually the only person in this game that hasn't died.
We've got about 2 minutes left on this Aegis for ZSMJ. If they want to take a fight, now's the time. They've got the tier 3 down. Are they going to go high ground? Looks like they want to. There's going to be, yes! Managed to get 2. Can they follow it up? Air going to be caught the second time, and he is going to be brought down. No buyback as of yet. Doseki's engaging. It's going to be Dreamy U, who's caught, though, with the Mystic Flare. And the rest of DK still up on their high ground. They lost the Jug for Air, and Air's going to be able to come right back in. Just bought back. TP's in via the bots. Buyback on Jug doesn't exist. He doesn't have the buyback.
TP's going for mega creeps.
Oh, base race as we see CTY cleaning up the back end base. I don't think they can rush the throne as fast, though. Oh, are they going to get the kills? It's going to be 60 seconds till Jug is back up. ZSMJ is just pecking away at the tier 4. They end up getting the tide back all the way back at the other base. We can see CTY is already on tier 4. Already has 1 down. It's going to be a huge base race. They're just trying to buy time right now. They can't commit this much time to heroes. Cold Snaps should end up dead here. In the meantime, they're going to try to send someone back, but CTY's on the Ancient. CTY has the Ancient down to half health. In the meantime, they lose 2 back in their own base. And this is going to be game. This is going to be it. CTY with the Terror Blade manages to out-base race an entire team. This series, which began 1-0 in favor of HGT, now tied up as DK pulls the trigger on the base race, rolls the dice, and comes up flush. What a conclusion, my friend. Terrorblade is an okay hero. He does okay late game. He can outpush the whole team, and he doesn't afraid of anything. Not bad.
Look at his score too, man. Like on paper, it's like, oh my god, how abysmal. It's awful. Yeah. What a feeder. Did nothing all game. Only participated in 3 out of like 20 kills. But man, have we even seen Terrorblade lose in this tournament yet? I don't think he has.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, I really don't think he has. And also, I think the questionable item decision from ZSMJ, I don't think that the Mjolnir plus Heart was really an answer to what they needed to accomplish. Nonetheless, really well played by CTY. Dreamy U had a really clutch play bottom river with that refresh ult Omni Slash with the Ags. That was huge because when he killed him, they got the first set of racks and ZSMJ had no buybacks. That's really the turning point of the game. And Air played fantastically in the Ember Spirit as well.
This hero is absurd. And I want to point out, he went 1-3-2 that game. That's how little he was involved in. He died 3 times and was involved in a grand total of 3 kills the entire game. You want to talk about a rat? I think I would rather deal with a Radiance Naga than a Bots Terrorblade. All farm being equal. I really do. What an absurd end. And Azias MJ's item build, like you were saying, it wasn't optimal, but I feel like he was serving his purpose. I feel like he did his job. They put the Aegis on him, they stuck him up front, said come engage, baited out a Ravage. They did end up to did manage to get air, but after that they were completely out of gas. But it didn't matter. All they had to do was delay. Buy CTY the time that he needed, and he ended the game for them. So, GG, well played. DK wins this first game and turns this series in which they were down 1 game to start. Again, the terms of that being the replacement status of DK. Talking to HGT, Ace, and DK, all parties agreed that the most fair and amicable way to approach it, since HGT had been on time for the match that would eventually be rescheduled with DK instead of New B. Everyone agreed. A 1-game advantage for HGT, and that's erased on the back of CTY and the Terrorblade pick. I'm AC, the voice on the other end. His name is Tralf. You can check us both out on Twitter. It's at AC and at TralfDota, AYESEE and TRALFDOTA. This is our last Eastern Division broadcast leading up to the LANs coming up over the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow, though, we will be releasing our entire remaining schedule for West and East, and that's going to be kicking off early in November, so make sure you keep an eye out for that over the next 24 hours. For now, though, make sure you stay in your seat, or if you get up, grab a beer and come right back, because this looks to be a fantastic conclusion to this series. HGT and DK going to Game 3. We'll be right back.